Hey guys, if you're watching this video, you probably want to get the Combat Master, and in today's video, I'm going to go over what's good, what's bad, and what I like about it. So the Combat Master is a pistol that I have, and I got it because, John Wick. It looks pretty nice. I got the polymer version because I liked the mag that it came with. It wasn't too big, didn't look too small, and overall, I really liked it, and I wanted to replace my Glock. And I tested it out. It's got a really nice trigger. It's all the external parts that you would want are there, and it's really nice. But once I got it, I found a few problems that it had. I mean, it is using the APS gas system, which is, I have heard it's not really the best, but I mean, I like it. And also, I thought this slide could probably go on my Glock 17, but the guide rod spring there actually can't fit. So here, that's the guide rod spring on the 34 TTI, Glock 17, 30, or Glock 34 TTI. Now, if I take the slide off my Glock 17, there's a huge difference with that guide rod spring. Now, they are the same length, but they're not the same width. So, if you try to put this slide on this Glock, it will fit. So, if you put it on like this, it definitely will fit. Oh yeah, that looks pretty cool. But it won't pull back and trigger doesn't work. So I don't really know what that's all about. But it still does come off pretty easily. And you can still put your Glock 17 slide back on. And if you try to do it the reverse way and take the Glock 34 frame, put the Glock 17 slide on it, it doesn't work either because the size of it is not really good because this comes up way too much for this guide rod spring. So I think you would have to switch out the internals because the internals are very similar, but they're not the same, which means you can't use most of the stuff on both of them, which is fine because you bought two different guns. But if you were thinking of switching them, you can't really, unless you switch out all of the internals of the Glock 17 to the Glock 34 and buy a new guide rod spring. So just got to keep that in mind. Now, the difference between the polymer slide models and most of the other models is that this, yeah, it's a polymer slide. So it can't withhold like CO2 or anything that will, put too much wear on the slide, so nothing too high pressure. But it also is very sluggish. It's really easy to pull back, but it doesn't return very fast. So here, that's it, and here. And that's that, and then here's compared to just a stock Glock 17 Gen 4. So this is much faster, and I also, in the evike store, I picked this gun up in its metal slide variant, and it's been really easy to pull. It's not been easy to pull back. It's been harder than my Glock, harder than my pistols that have the new springs in them, but it's been harder to pull back, and it's been just, I think it would have been more snappy if you got the metal version, plus it would have not had these little logos, since I used them for holsters and put them in holsters, and I rack them all the time, and I use my guns. They see the logo is kind of worn out since it's not the metal slide variant. So that's another factor to keep in your mind. But the pros of this gun is it's kind of very light. Plus, there's a bunch of external features that you get, like an enhanced slide release, like right here, because that has a little point right there, if you can see it, compared to the Glock doesn't have it. It's got an enhanced mag release that doesn't if you were to holster this gun, it wouldn't get knocked and have the mag fall off. So it's still it's a pretty good mag release. It's just, yeah, it's pretty good. And also, this flared magazine I really like because it helps speed up reloads really fast. Plus, it helps, give you a good grip because it adds so much, more room to it. But it only can hold the extended mags. It can only hold mostly extended mags because if you try to throw anything else than extended mags in it, it will be hard to reload, and you may actually break the gun because you may accidentally not install it the full way. So here's a basic Glock magazine. If I put this flush Glock magazine in there, yes, it will work, but it will go in super far. So if you're just slapping that in there, it won't go the full way in. Yeah, so if you're putting the Glock 17 mag there, it's not going to be a good fit. It's not going to be the best, but the magazine does help if you're using the right mags, and the right mags are actually $35. Now, I've had some of the $35 mags break on me. They're the same mags, except for they don't come with this aluminum base plate. They just come with a metal alloy base plate. I actually have some over here somewhere, but yeah, they're practically this same mag right here. But this mag I really like also, and I've been buying these because they're cheaper than Glock mags, which means you can buy more, and if you break them from dropping them, they won't, instantly break. Plus, they're easier to reload since they stick out more, they look better, and overall, they're just higher quality. And if I drop them, the base plate won't break off, and I won't have to buy another $50. Getting back to the video, the Glock mags don't fit in this gun really well, so they're just, they're good mags, though. And it's just because this flared mag is too long, which, it helps you with your reloads when you're using the right mags really fast. Also, this is a Glock 34, so this won't fit in most 17 holsters, which you'll have to get a whole new holster, and they don't sell a 17, so unless you want to buy the Gen 4 17, because there's no Gen 5s, you're kind of mostly out of luck. But there's also some more external pros, like it's stippled really, it's really good stipple, like where you're making your points of contact right here. It's all stippled right there. You can also fit an RMR to it, but it doesn't come with an optic plate. And on the front here, I switched it out for just the Glock point sight because I don't use this gun as much. But this is the original sight that comes with it, which is fiber optic, really helps. And I just threw it on my Glock, but it just comes with basic Glock sights, and that's really the end of pros, except for the trigger's really nice, and there's a weirdly positioned safety. It's hard to find. I don't know why, but the safety's right here. You can't flip it off in a hassle. It's right there instead of it being over here or somewhere over here, but it's beyond me. And if you put a flashlight on, then you can't access it. So it's an added thing, but you don't really know. So up to that's all the externals. The internals I've already talked about. If you're trying to replace it with anything Glock, it's just got a little bit slightly different internals. Other than that, you can mostly switch it with some Glock parts. I don't know if it's proprietary or not, but this gas system isn't the best. I have some footage of it just not working the best. This gun, I've used it this week, and it's just not been the best. So what will happen is it'll just spasm out, or what I think it's doing is it's not getting good seal on here. And that... not really the best, because you want a good seal, and plus, yeah, it's not really good. But also, this gun is highly accurate. I really like it because it's really accurate. Most people say they don't like it because it's sluggish, but I'll put my dot on target and I'll just hit there every single time, compared to my Glock where I don't even know where it's shooting half the time, which I think that's more my fault than the guns. But yeah, it does come with a more extended barrel that is bronze, and it looks really good. But it does eventually, since it's silver on the inside, or not silver, but it's a metal, it's a shiny metal on the inside, so it'll just wear off and wear off, just like these. So if I were if you already got the gun, I mean, it will still work. It's definitely not A tier, but I'd rate it at like C tier or something like that, because it still gets the job done. It's just, it breaks unless you're using the high enough pressure gas, because if I'm in a mag that's like more than half depleted of gas, it'll start the maybe half cycle where it will only go back to here and won't fully go back, but it'll still shoot. And then eventually, since the spring's not strong enough, it'll get stuck up in a BB, and I'll have to just manually pull it back so I can start shooting it again. So that's another thing that's bad about it. But if you have already gotten this, there are some metal slide kits. They do cost a little bit of money, but there are some metal slide kits where you can upgrade the spring on here, so it's just a better spring overall, and it's got a better slide. It comes with new stuff, so if you really just want to upgrade it. Also, this does, as you can see on here, I've got a Trijicon RMR Type 2, I think. But it will, if you go and you find a footprint that will fit the Glock back sights, it will literally do the same thing on here. It's nothing changed from the Glock sights. Actually, you can change the Glock sights from that one to this one, except for they're just rised a little bit. And the back one is really rised, but they're still pretty accurate. They're still nice. They're a good upgrade. If you buy the pistol and you don't use it, you can just use it for spare parts. And what I would want to do is I would want to put this upper on that lower, because that lower is just amazing. I love the trigger, love everything about this lower. I love the grip that I can get on it. I think it's just my size hands are perfect, but I can get the grip right here, fold it around, and then it hits this stippling right here, then get it there. And that's just like a really tight grip. It's perfect. But, I mean, it's a good pistol. I really like how it looks, but it's just got some errors with its cycling and how it, like, how the gas system works. I know it's an APS gas system, and that's supposedly bad, but I really do like the gun that I mean, it's a good quality gun. I just get it in metal slide if I were to go back in time. Plus, these mags, I actually got this gun and got these mags, and I've dropped this mag like 6-7 times, and I've dropped this mag once, and I had to replace the base plate, but I've dropped this other mag a lot of times, and all that happens is the base plate just goes flying off, and then I can just put it back on, and it works fine. And then you just put it in your Glock, and it works with the Glock 17 Gen 4. The only thing bad about it is the slide doesn't return 100%, but like 99.8%. So that's how it sounds. I mean, you may not be able to identify it, but here's how it sounds with the basic, just the Glock mag. It's like, doesn't interfere with it as much. Doesn't hit it the full way. It's not as, yeah. So I like these mags more anyway. They actually kind of hold a little bit less than these mags, but they still look better. They're easier to do reloads with. They look cool. And if you really just want some cheaper mags that look cool, better quality, better pretty much everything than the Glock mags, just get those TTI mags, and they look good. They pretty much are everything good. And yeah, I mean, thank you guys for watching this video again. Really appreciate it. If you were to subscribe to this, I'm gonna do a lot of this type content with most of my replicas. I mean, I've got this one that I've already done. I've got my Glock. I've got this Airsoft Tactical right here. I've got my Taran Tactical over in the corner over there, and I've got a lot more gear that I can do, you know, some videos on. So just like and subscribe for more content.